Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, February 18th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. When one's own true nature is known, then there is being without beginning and end. It is unbroken awareness, total bliss. Sri Ramana Maharishi. It's been said throughout the ages that all of the emotionally painful and traumatic events that we've experienced in our lives are here to awaken us. Each event is a sort of spiritual fertilizer that provides the essential nutrients to create optimum growth. The quote-unquote shit of life simply pushes us deeper inside our being, where we are forced to grow, stretch, and discover more forgiveness, gentleness, and compassion for ourselves. Life contains this sacred setup so that we're guaranteed to have an awesome spiritual adventure, and we are all waking up in a variety of very unique ways. To become fully enlightened, that's the direction of this civilization, and quite frankly, all civilizations, is to become fully enlightened. We must choose to first see how we have been indoctrinated, programmed, and conditioned by our parents, family, the media, and formal education system to ignore that there is a divine magical power within us. Our entire society has become deeply unaware of the profound ancient truth that we are divinely magical, all-powerful, manifesting beings that never die, who can create anything we can imagine. For many centuries, we have been put to sleep to this spiritual understanding collectively. Often it requires a quite radical event in this life to uproot our old thinking and shake us awake from our long, deep slumber. So whenever something is happening in the outer world that scares you, remember that it is sacred fertilizer from this universe. It is meant to wake you up to deeper healing energy inside. Now, perhaps your mind is thinking that the title, the heading of this information is how to be enlightened in 5 hours. How can we become enlightened within 5 hours? It's good to know that the depth of our doubt equals the level of our indoctrination into the matrix. The depth of our doubt equals the level of our indoctrination into this matrix. So for the next week of your life, I want you to try out something completely new. Imagine that you are not who you think you are. Your name, your personality, your character. Try to imagine that you are beyond all the limiting ideas which your mind has imposed upon you. So it's like giving yourself a permission slip to be free from all your boxes of thinking and believing about who you are. The information that I'm about to share with you is based on a 1,500-year-old yogic science that is very powerful. If you devote the next year of your life learning to learn this ancient yogic technique, you will relieve yourself from decades and perhaps lifetimes of future suffering. This teaching comes from the wisdom of Patanjali, who is the founder of yoga. These are the instructions from a great master who saw that enlightenment is a possibility for every human being. Never exclude yourself from this possibility. Enlightenment is an opportunity to become free from all human sufferings and live the most enjoyable, healing, fulfilling, and orgasmic life you could ever imagine. Isn't this what your heart truly desires? And you can feel this in your heart mind. So are you ready to learn how to become enlightened? You ask yourself that. The first step is to practice redirecting your focus towards the source, where your thoughts are coming from. The first step is to practice redirecting your focus towards the source, where your thoughts are coming from. Notice where this next thought is arising from, and hold your attention there. You don't have to cognitively locate the physical neurons in your brain where the thought is coming from. That's not the point. This is an exercise of simply turning your attention within towards the divine, creative, infinite source from where every experience of this life is emanating from. When you can hold your undivided attention on the source of thought for 2 minutes in a row, you will enter the official state of meditation, according to Patanjali. When you can extend that meditation time to 28 minutes in a row, you'll reach the first level of bliss called samadhi. When your mind, body, and awareness are strong enough to remain for 5 hours in a row of full unbroken awareness of the source of thought, you will completely awaken from Maya. Maya, the grand illusion. You will completely awaken from Maya, the grand illusion, and become an enlightened being like Buddha and Christ. Buddha meaning enlightened being, Christ meaning enlightened one. So it really isn't a person, it is a state of being. So now you understand what the real practice of yoga was created for. That's it. Remain in wonder if you want the mysteries to open up for you. Answers are dangerous. They kill your wonder. Osho. The reason these techniques work is because whatever you place your attention on grows. If and when you hold your attention on any one particular thing, loads of universal energy pour into it. It becomes your God. Everything you experience in this reality comes from whatever your mind dwells upon, whatever you believe the truth, reality, or existence is. It comes from the length of attention that you are giving to it. You can step out of the suffering and enter nirvana. Our 5 senses see, feel, smell, taste, and touch the outer world, yet our imaginations are responsible for creating pleasure or suffering out of this. All of the suffering that we've experienced in our entire lives has been generated by our minds interpreting, judging, resisting, or attacking some idea about someone or something in the outer world. Now, I'm not speaking about physical pain as much as human suffering. I'm not speaking about physical pain as much as human suffering. The suffering of humanity comes from over-identifying with the mind and not knowing the spiritual truth of who we are. The reason the mind cannot remain focused in one direction for very long is because of the layers of emotional and mental pain that are stored in the memory of the human body. The reason the mind cannot remain focused in one direction for very long is because of the layers of emotional and mental pain that are stored in the memory of the human body. The longer we sit still in silence and meditate, the more feelings of anxiety, irritation, uncomfortableness, and fear will start to bubble up out of nowhere and take over. We may be focused and deeply relaxed when all of a sudden our mind jumps to some random event weeks ago. All the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. Pamela Wilson. The traumas inside us that bubble up have been collected and stored inside our energetic bodies because we did not process and integrate them fully at the time they occurred. To be able to sit and meditate for 5 hours in a row, we must fully release all of these old stuck past pains from our DNA. We must fully allow the negative mental, emotional energy to be fully re-experienced in a new light. This happens by welcoming the uncomfortable emotional energy into the light of our pure consciousness. If the negative energy does not release by simply giving it your full loving presence, you may need to use your breath, movement, sound, intention, and a deeper relaxation before it shifts. When we feel the emotional release come through, our bodies and minds will feel energetically lighter. In this lightness, we rest back into the state of pure awareness, emptiness of the mind, and relax deeply into the healing feeling that the trauma was released from our bodies. Anxiety cannot be dissolved through thinking because thinking itself is a sort of anxiety. Osho. By abiding in the awareness of this every day of your life, you will one day purify the body from all the stored traumas, karmas, sanskaras, and become enlightened. This path is a science and is proven by the ancient masters. It is 100% guaranteed. Remaining in a pure state of relaxation and awareness is all it takes. Remaining in a pure state of relaxation and awareness is all it takes. Whatever the mind jumps to focus upon is never going to be as amazing as the bliss of entering samadhi. Being devoted to this one simple truth is vital if and when you want to transcend suffering, spiritually awaken, and completely liberate your life. Now, we must practice something, choose to practice something every day if we want to get good at it. We must choose to understand that we won't be able to keep our attention only on the source of thought in the beginning months. It may take us 3 to 6 months of daily practice before we see or feel any results. The key is not get wrapped up in the thoughts or judgments themselves of what this practice is about. The goal of meditation is enlightenment. With deep determination, we will start tapping into our pure, unlimited power and infinite potential as a soul. We must choose to devote ourselves first to being present for just 2 full minutes of pure, undiluted attention towards the source of thought. Now, one would say, 2 full minutes, that's not long. Watch how much the mind wanders, even when you're working on focusing for 2 minutes. This is why our attention span is so limited. It's kind of like sharpening the blade of awareness every day, and you will get there. Once you reach 2 minutes, you will begin feeling lighter, freer, and clearer on the inside. You will feel the difference. I guarantee it. To cling to life is to cling to the 5 senses. To normal consciousness, to cling to life is to cling to the 5 senses to normal consciousness, thereby shunning the super consciousness within which the Atman is known. Patanjali, Sutras from How to Know God. Life is an amazing adventure, for our souls are here to explore. No matter what happens in our outer world, it is all for our soul's growth and spiritual evolution. Everything that occurs is not by chance, yet part of a divine play that we set up to elevate our consciousness and cause us to grow spiritually. Everything that occurs is not by chance. I mean everything. Yet part of a divine play that we set up to elevate our consciousness, cause us to grow spiritually. Now, you probably have forgotten this. Is that you are divine. You are born as a super powerful manifesting being that does not die, who can create anything that you desire. Once you know in your heart this deep and direct truth, you won't have another problem in your life. Everything will become an opportunity to explore. Many of us have forgotten this. Excuse me. But when we begin to remember that we are divine, that we are born as super powerful manifesting beings who do not die, who can create anything that we desire, once we know in our hearts this deep and direct truth, we won't have another problem in our lives. Everything will become an opportunity to explore. It's good to know that we are deeply interconnected. It's good to know that we are a deeply interconnected network of beings on this planet. And when enough people are living in a higher state of mind, right, it's good to know that we are a deeply interconnected network of beings on this planet. And when enough people are living in a higher state of mind, whether it is relaxed, at peace, in love, or enlightened, then the 100th monkey effect will take place. This means that this higher elevated consciousness will exponentially spread throughout everyone on this entire planet. In a matter of milliseconds, all 8 billion people will spontaneously feel lighter, freer, more at peace, for no apparent reason at all. Remember that this life is not about satisfying our egos, for that would only bring temporary happiness. We are here to connect deeply with the minds, hearts, and souls of this entire planet and experience being one family of love and light. Do this, and you'll raise your consciousness to the highest peak. Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. Osho. Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. When we make these spiritual explorations, the number one priority in our day, we will experience a multitude of amazing things. This radically alive lifestyle is a constant choice that we consciously make before we start our day. Now, you will find these experiences that I've shared with you in feeling more enlightened in some way wonderful. Keep doing them all week long and expand upon them. We're in a way, we're undoing eons of programming, right? We're undoing it. Our direction is within now. It's not out there anymore. We have this propensity to cling on to many things. Now, we may do it for possibly lifetimes and not even know it, accumulating. But when you are with yourself and you're in silence, ask yourself a question. Why would I spend the majority of the time that I am in this body worrying, stressing, and fearing and trying to compete in the race when all of it is external? It's all external, all of us. And it's a choice. It's a decision. Isn't it? Isn't it a decision for it? Hey, either you make it or you don't. Either you choose to continually be in the outer world. You might be in it, but you're not of it. And this, in turn, keeps you from knowing the God that you are in that body. Look at all the external distractions that you've experienced, that we've all experienced in different ways. Shapes, sizes, forms, extremes throughout this lifetime, and I can guarantee you through every lifetime that we've inhabited to date. Now, obviously, our attention span has been greatly compromised from the programming that we have all received lifetime after lifetime. But when you discover on your own you begin to discover who and what you are. A supremely divine manifesting being that never dies. Are you the car when you're driving the car? No. You're commanding the car, your hands are on the steering wheel, and you're directing it. You are not the car. Just like you're directing the body, you are not the body. But the majority of us don't direct the body because we believe we are the body. So the question arises, you will end up asking yourself this if you haven't already. All of us will. What, what is the purpose? Since our souls are to learn, right? And we enter a life, and we learn, and we experience many things throughout the short time that we have in the body. But the glitch is, why do we keep doing it over and over again? Why do we start from scratch, so to speak? We're not really starting from scratch, but why do we start from no memory every single time? Wouldn't you believe, understand that your experience levels would only expand each lifetime, right? Because you would have incarnated and had a lifetime and then left that body. That life is over. And then you would have entered another body. But from what you've accumulated in learning from that previous body's life, you apply that to the body that you enter, the new body that you enter. So you use those life experiences while you were in that body to assist you in the next body so that you can continually expand, nurture your knowledge, and move more and more into enlightenment. So that's a glitch. And the more that we learn in these bodies, the more that we become aware. Because I can guarantee you 60 trillion% that it isn't out there. You can picture yourself high above. You're outside. You have left the mind and ego alone. You are in the now. And you're watching things. That's all you're doing. You're just watching. You're not judging. That's ego mind. You're simply watching. And you watch the planet. And you zoom in to different areas of the planet. And you watch how everyone is in a hurry. You zero in on New York City, you zero in on Singapore, you focus and you just zoom right in. Enough to take in everything. And you're watching this all over the planet. Where are they going? Why are they in such a hurry? Is there something that I'm missing? I can't seem to see where the finality is of their destination. It doesn't seem to be a destination. It just seems that they're just rushing to nowhere. And this is all a learning experience for us, a view from outside of ourselves. To understand, and it's difficult for so many on this planet to understand deeply within your God. You make the connection that everything in this physical world is temporary. It's not ever going to be permanent. It's temporary. Now imagine when you decide to deeply go within and stay within and take these steps to become more and more enlightened. Leave the ego mind alone more and more each step. Stay in the now, focused. In the beginning, even 2 minutes. And what will happen is eventually, you will be free from all suffering. And all of your desires will be. Now, to the ego mind, that isn't possible. That's just absolutely silly because it's so insecure, it has a very difficult time believing anything. You see what happens. We get derailed by the ego mind. And actually the ego mind is teaching us how not to be. It's teaching us to go within. And you eventually come to the understanding and awareness that how you desire your life to be, it will be. What you desire, you will have. Doesn't that make a lot more sense than standing up at a brick wall and banging your forehead on that brick wall in hopes that it's going to crumble and you can walk through it? Does that make a lot more sense that you just, with ease, turn the dial in the opposite direction and have all this abundance come pouring for you? And at the same time, you have the awareness of this. And you have the faith and trust and confidence within yourself and this universe that you can, at will, create what you desire. Live the life that you desire to live. That's our natural state of being. And then people will say, then why is it so uncomfortable for me to make that transition? Going, leaving the ego mind alone, moving within and focused on the God that you are within that body. The interaction, asking questions, receiving answers, knowing that you are forever, the God that you are, and the body isn't. We should be able to stay in the body for as long as we choose, to learn as much as we can before we decide to leave that body. We decide when we leave that body. Now, with this understanding, everything shifts. You're no longer in a hurry. You're not in a hurry. You know with complete awareness that you can say to yourself, I'm going to be in this body, maybe 3,000 years. And that gives me plenty of time to learn about who and what I am, to learn about what I really am, to deprogram the programming I received when I came into this body. Okay? You have many more avenues to move into samadhi and nirvana on a continual basis. First, you visit it briefly, and then it becomes more front and center. That's what this is all about. And I know to many of you, and all those who listen to these meditations throughout the planet, I know that you know deep within you that this is one of the main reasons we are in these bodies. And that is to fix the glitch. How do you feel, and what do you believe would happen in the event that eventually this entire civilization was enlightened and know what it is, that it's a God within the body, supreme immortal manifesting being that never dies, and can manifest anything they desire? What do you think would happen on this planet? Because this is all heart-mindedness. This is all going within. This has nothing to do with out there. It'd be a God planet paradise. Why is it a God planet? Because there's 8 billion gods, not including all the other gods inhabiting all the other forms. It's a God planet. And as gods, we wish to experience bliss, paradise in physical form on this planet. So we look at the planet and we say, as the gods that we are, we will make these changes in association and full connection with the God that is within this planet. This is a whole different understanding, completely. But that can only happen when each of us decide on our own to go within and to practice staying within, to understand what the ego mind actually is, what it's for. to understand what the physical material world is all about and what it's for. You start getting your ecstasy button, right? Opens up. You can feel it in your heart mind, in the center of your chest. You can feel this ecstasy, this brilliance, when you start focusing on the enlightened path. Each of us are affecting millions of people on this planet. Has nothing, we're not in the ego mind, we're in the heart mind. Our desire is to have this spread and saturate and permeate everything connected to this planet. On it, in it, above it, and below it. Everything, everywhere. Nothing escapes it. Total bliss. Saturating and flooding and permeating this planet. Non-stop. And that's what we're doing. And it doesn't end. Because we move into more and more enlightenment, which is our natural state of being, which affects others to do the same. And you're soon going to learn that all this shenanigans going on right now on this planet are an illusion. And are evaporating. Now, the people that focus on this stuff, you know, the external reality, the happenings around them, and they're in it, then for them, it will be a very disturbing ride. For those of us who are awake to a certain extent, it'll be celebratory. See the difference? Those in the matrix, the illusion, see everything entirely different than we do. Completely different. That's why when you communicate verbally with these others, and they don't, it's like you're speaking a foreign language and they don't understand a word you're saying. But you're speaking it, right? And you're expressing. But you notice that you just feel it. You don't, it's not a judgment, you feel it. You say they're not picking this up. And you know that. But it isn't a negative, you just move on. Saturate them with love and move on. You can see with your heart mind. And you can see what is happening with all of us in this planet. When something is stated, right, in the material physical world, it's up to you to choose to believe it or not. And it's also up to you to choose to interpret it through the heart mind, not the ego mind. The ego mind is full of fear and panic and anxiety, greed, manipulation, disharmony, suffering. The heart mind is pure, doesn't get involved with all the rhetoric. And through the heart mind, you can feel and see the vibratory patterns of what is happening, the transition. It is your decision And many people say, well, how can you? Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. You see how far we've been programmed? How many of us are ecstatic in this very moment, in this very now? Genuinely, through the heart mind. This is kind of a measure for you because you'll be able to know where you're at, okay? Where you're at. Have you been seduced by the ego mind, and are you in the center of all of this? You'll know. It's not a negative, it's discovery. You'll know. Why am I not ecstatic since it's my very nature? And it's interesting because humanity believes it has a load to pull. A load to pull. And it's all illusion. We're here to discover the immortal supreme beings that we are in the body. Then, master the ego mind, have it tend us till it's no longer needed. Understand that we can manifest, create anything we desire through the heart mind. That everything is already ours. We just forgot it. And we're halfway there because we've already discovered the external material world, haven't we? Not just this lifetime, but many. We know what that's about. We have all repeatedly experienced it, all levels in lives. So then we say, but I haven't experienced the discovery of the God that I am within this body. And it's telltale time that I do. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Let go of the details. Doesn't matter so much if everything is exactly how your ego thinks it should be. What's more important is your soul's purpose here. Do you want to feel the amazing freedom from finding and following your soul's mission? Whenever you get attached to this life's small details, the more tense and tight your body becomes. When your mind becomes obsessed about the tiny details of how things should be inside your little fishbowl, the less connected you feel with the amazing, divine, infinite ocean of bliss that is inside you and all around you. Take a giant leap back from this overly critical and highly detailed, scrutinizing mind for one day. Choose to be free from all insignificant details for 24 hours. And notice how your body feels. Focus instead on the life lessons that your soul came here to learn. You're here to learn how to trust this life and become deeply kind, loving, and fearless. It just feels good to release the ego and its tight grip on how things should be in order for you to be happy. Everything is already perfect, exactly as it is. This universe is always far more intelligent and perfectly organized, much more than any of us will be able to imagine. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Sunday, February 19th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be in deep gratitude and appreciation. Practice it 24/7 through your heart mind. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times.